Hello everyone and welcome to All Directions podcast.
Hello,
Hello.
Scottish guy.
Scottish?
Scottish guy.
I was trying to go for Irish.
Well, that was very Scottish.
I have a really bad habit of going from Irish to Scottish.
You should have no problem with sticking on the Irish accent
No.
I mean, we've done just constant half-an-hour conversations purely with Irish accents. I mean, Irish accents aren't that difficult to hit.
Wow. Yeah, no. When you get into the swing of things, you might end up going from Irish to Scottish.
They are quite similar
Yeah.
accents, really. I mean, you emphasize a bit further, I think, when it comes to Scottish. You're a bit more heavy on your syllables.
Mm.
But really, it's so easy to switch from one to the other. So I think there was a cartoon that actually played with that.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the Disney Channel, I think. Phineas and Ferb had it was like a car wash owner or like a guy who he owned like a carnival park or something, I can't remember. But he basically, at the start, when they're first introduced to him and they're trying to buy out the place, he starts off as Irish, and then once they give him the money, he transitions into like a Scottish accent. He's like, I'm Scottish now. So it's like...
Jeez.
The Irish might disagree with with all that.
Well, I mean, I believe the history of Ireland and Scotland is that the Irish moved over to Scotland and then became basically Scottish over time.
Well, I mean, really, you think about it, the national colours of Ireland, Ireland is green.
Yeah, it is.
And at least in my mind, red is the Scottish colours.
Is it?
It's either, well...
I thought it was more of an orange.
It's red or orange.
Yeah.
I think colour-wise it's red. But, I mean, everyone there is ginger.
Yeah.
So... you wouldn't be... you would be forgiven for thinking... You'd be forgiven for thinking it's orange, I think. Which,
No, wait, sorry, the Irish flag has orange on it. It's green, white, and orange, I believe.
But it's majority green.
No, I think it's all evened out.
No, they're green.
Either that or I'm thinking of Italy or somewhere.
Oh, probably closer to thinking of Italy,
to
be honest with you. I think it's always what throws off because just before the podcast started, we got into a brief discussion about wrestling and all that shit. Yeah, we did. And it always threw me off about the Sheamus character or wrestler. Yeah. Because he was Irish, but he was ginger. And big and bulky, so he always came across as very Scottish.
Yeah.
To me.
I think he tried to offset that with the green tights and stuff.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm Irish, but I look a little Scottish, so what the fuck am I gonna do?
although I think Celtic people who I believe are originally from Ireland did have ginger hair.
Well, yeah.
So as far as I know, ginger wasn't just exclusive to Scotland.
It is primarily a Scottish thing, though, to be ginger.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere around the world, if you encounter a ginger person, they're most likely either from Scotland or have descendants from Scotland. Yeah. I mean, yeah, guys. It's where the ginger's at.
It's where the ginger's at.
It's where the ginger's at.
Oh, so blah, blah.
Yes, I completely agree with you, 100%. Undoubtable, in fact, I would say. In fact, I think there's conclusive evidence towards it.
Yeah.
So, actually, funny thing. Speaking of Sheamus, obviously he's a very pale person, right?
He's extremely pale.
Yeah,
I think he's got on a little bit more of a tan these days.
We have a friend that we typically call by the name of Ghost. He used to get called Sheamus all the time back at school.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe he's blonde though.
He's he says he's a dirty strawberry blonde, but a lot of people say he's ginger, despite the fact he's blatantly not ginger. But just because he's ridiculously, he's not even albino or anything, because he's insanely pale. Everyone just always either called him Sheamus or Mayonnaise. That was his two nicknames outside of the circle.
I don't think mayonnaise is actually a nice thing to eat.
Mayonnaise is disgusting.
I think the closest... Actually, it is technically mayonnaise. Salad cream.
Salad cream, garlic sauce, which is technically mayonnaise.
Yeah, is it? No, I thought it was just like butter and garlic.
No, I had a look into it like a few days ago, and technically speaking, it is a mayonnaise.
All right.
Which is unfortunate because I despise mayonnaise.
Right.
And I despise people who like mayonnaise. But yet I fucking love garlic sauce.
Yeah.
So...
I like garlic butter. I don't think I've ever had garlic sauce yet.
Oh, garlic sauce is amazing. Garlic butter's just as amazing. But garlic sauce, you just cover that shit. Like, cover anything in that shit. Right. And it's amazing stuff. Like, you just can't get enough of it. Mostly the salty foods. Wouldn't go sticking it on something sweet, sugary. Yeah. So, yeah.
Ooh, on the topic of you despising people who like mayonnaise, I have a personal thing that I despise people for doing with food.
Wearing it.
No. That is encouraged by me.
Okay. There's a little bit of information here, everyone.
Well done, Katy Perry. No, it's people who use knife and fork on pizza. I really hate that. There's a
time and place for it.
Look, I understandably, if you're in like a restaurant, it might look better if you use a knife and fork.
Yeah.
But pizza is hand food.
But you might be an upper class citizen.
I don't give a damn what class you are.
And you're in a very fancy restaurant.
If you want to be fancy, then just get like the finger pizzas and like put a skewer through them.
No, because that doesn't look fancy whatsoever. The only way you look super fancy. In like, literally, it doesn't matter. You could have any food in front of your plate. You will never look fancier than if you are eating a pizza with a knife and fork. That's as posh as it gets.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I think that's just
I've tried it once or twice. And then after about like halfway through, maybe a quarter of the way through, I usually just end up giving up and just eating it. Like the way you're supposed to eat it.
Yeah.
But it's fun to give it a shot, you know, like... I mean, I'd try, eat pizza with... Have you got problem that eat pizza? Have you got problems with people that eat pizzas with chopsticks?
I don't think I've seen people eat pizza with chopsticks. So I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. I would attempt it myself.
I would attempt it.
Because I've kind of got the gist of how to use chopsticks now. Not too long ago, actually, I had noodles with chopsticks. It was difficult. Because there's a lot of stirring involved to make sure that you get all your food on the chopsticks that you need. But it was doable. I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I used to be quite good with the chopsticks. The way I used to train myself was I used to eat peanuts with chopsticks. Just because obviously with them being so small, you just you've really got to get the precision right. Otherwise, I'll just keep falling off. Yeah. But then I went so many years without continually doing it, I just lost the skill altogether. Yeah. So if I was to try and do it now, today, I probably wouldn't even be able to get close to picking one up. In fact, as I was trying to close them, they'd probably open up further.
Well, it's like before I did the whole eating noodles and stuff with chopsticks, I think my first attempt was to like eat like sliced, cut up bread. I might have buttered them, I'm not sure. And I did that, and just before I did that, I looked at a tutorial on YouTube how to do it. And it's like, essentially you keep one chopstick here between your thumb, the crease in your thumb, and the tip of your finger, and you're supposed to keep that still. And then, at the same time, where your knuckle is on your thumb, you hold the other chopstick between that and your top finger on top here. And then that's supposed to be the chopstick that you move. And I can do it, but you get the constant problem of, oh, I'm getting it, oh, I've lost it. Right. It's like that realization, oh, I'm doing it, and then you're just completely crap afterwards. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think eventually I always just end up giving up with the chopsticks and just stabbing whatever it is I'm trying to eat. Just hold it with the one. I mean,
as long as you don't do that in a place that people actually use chopsticks, you're okay. Because I believe to do that it's like offensive or something.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think in that case, I would just stick to the cutlery that I'm provided with, unless I was drunk or something, then I probably just wouldn't give a fuck,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I couldn't imagine doing it with, like, he said he tried it with bread.
I've tried it with bread, yeah. Not with, like, whole slices of bread, like I said. It was all cut up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting
stuff. I've completely lost the point in which I was going with this, but it was significant somewhere down the line.
Yeah. So, how about we inform everybody about what topics are actually due today, apart from Irish people, chopsticks, and Katy Perry wearing meat.
Neither of which are in the show notes for today.
No.
None of them.
We haven't even got notes today.
Well, we do.
No, we've got an idea.
We've got ideas.
But we haven't got anything jotted down.
We haven't done specific research into this. This is just an opinionated show.
Yeah. It's an opinion, people. Don't be offended.
So, actually, I think that's where I was kind of going to go around with bread, actually. You remember the show that was on Channel 4 many years ago? It was always on in the morning about the 3 little aliens that came down to Earth. And they had a father alien who sent them down to Earth. And basically their job was to sort of study humans and learn their ways.
Was it My Parents Are Aliens?
That was only 2 aliens, and they didn't intentionally come down to Earth.
Yeah.
And that was on CITV, not Channel 4. It was a morning show made out of puppets. There was a purple one, a pink one, and a green one.
The Hoobs?
The Hoobs.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay.
There's an episode in the Hoobs, something I actually always wanted to try after having witnessed this episode.
Right.
But I think it was like, I can't remember if they were just having a sandwich in the episode or if they were trying toast or something. And I think, is Milo the purple one, or has he got a completely different name?
Milo's the young, not the green one. He's, he is the purple one.
I think Milo's the purple one. Well, basically, he was like, he had toast or something, and it was about the episode that constantly kept mixing up salt with sugar, and they were never sure which one's which.
Right.
And they couldn't figure out how to define which one was which. And eventually figured it out in the end. And when Milo, I think, was about to go and put, like sugar or something on his toast, I think he accidentally went and poured salt on it instead, and then ate it, and he was like, "This is actually really nice." And so I was like, "I'm gonna try that one day. I'm just gonna try putting like stuff that should have sugar on it. I'll put salt on, and stuff that should have salt on. I'm gonna actually no, it wasn't toast. It was chips. He was meant to put salt on his chips, and he accidentally poured sugar over his chips. Right. And that was the thing I wanted to try. I was like, sugar on your chips, that would be amazing. But I never actually went around to trying it.
All right.
So yeah, that leads us on to our first topic of the show.
Wait, you might want to define what type of chips you mean, because potentially American audience.
Yeah, but you all know we're British. We've told you 1,000 times by this point, we are British. Chips, as in chips, not crisps, chips.
As in chipped potatoes, deep fried.
As in, yes, but not your chips. Our chips.
Ours.
What you call fries.
Yes.
But not usually as skinny. Although they can be skinny, we'll still call them chips.
No, I think we generally call skinny chips just fries.
Well, we tend to do that, but technically they're chips.
And I'm going to actually blame McDonald's for that.
Well, yeah, but they're American in general.
Yeah.
So, you know, what you gonna do?
When Hulkamania runs all over you. Sorry, it's runs wild on you.
Well done.
Yeah. Sorry, Hulk Hogan. You've lost your job now. It was your fault.
Or his fault.
It was my fault.
Well, you got the line wrong.
Well, okay.
So that means everyone's now thinking he didn't make the line memorable enough, and so he got the sack.
Oh, wait, I can't even mention Hulk Hogan anymore, because he doesn't exist in the WWE anymore.
Well, he came back for a while?
No, they fired him.
Oh.
I'll fill you in quickly. So, he and his wife were a bit, on and off kind of deal.
Sure.
So, No, it might have been his new girlfriend because I think he split from his wife. But regardless, somebody recorded him complaining about his daughter being with a black guy.
Right.
And he called him the explicit word that I shall not say. Yeah. And the that was released on the internet, and WWE fired him. He's off the website. He has no mention of him on the WWE Wikipedia and stuff. He's totally gone now.
It's funny what the WWE will fire you for.
I know,
because they want you to, like, even outside of work, they want you to keep character at all times. Mm-hmm. So you remember back when CM Punk had the whole Straight Edge Society thing going on? Well, the chick in the Straight Edge Society was actually caught walking into a bar and getting a drink.
Right.
Of course, the whole point of being straight edge is that you don't drink. And because that video went up onto the internet, she got fired.
Oh, okay.
Just because she wanted to have a drink.
Why would you have to be... Wait, I've seen plenty of wrestlers be out of character while they're like not in the ring.
Yeah, but there's nothing like extreme in terms of the kind of stuff. Like, for example, WWE would be furious if a video went onto the internet of John Cena being an arsehole.
Right.
And, you know, punching little children and stuff. Because that would be very much out of character for him, and it would break the immersion of him being this lovely person. And same with when you're playing a character that's got this huge deal on hating anybody that drinks or does drugs or smokes or any of that stuff. And then for a video of you to go up online of you walking into a bar and getting a drink kind of kills the immersion of that character. So at that point, they're basically done with that. And that's round about the time when WWE ended the storyline of the Straight Edge Society. And then they got then they went and shaved CM Punk's head, and he had his character switch.
Yeah.
So
then he stopped being Jesus.
He stopped being Jesus. He was wearing a mask for a while.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He had a very Rey Mysterio-esque mask.
Okay.
And then he started to embrace the fact that he had little to no hair. And took the mask off. Actually, no, he got the mask ripped off of him. I think Rey Mysterio took the mask off. And then that's when he got his new theme tune, started doing the the mic bomb or whatever it was called again. And started in the storyline pissing off the officials at WWE. And at that point went on for about a year or so, left, and is now doing comic books and stuff.
He's doing comic books?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Not too shabby.
But yeah, circling back around to WWE after I'd already made the segue onto our topic. Salt and Sugar. Which one's the best?
I think at this point in time, you may be able to convince me otherwise. I would say they're pretty much equal. I can't really think of a situation where I would pick I was going to say pick one over the other in a situation, but I think generally Salt's better.
Okay. I guess first of all I've got to figure out whether or not I want to agree with you or to retort you. Obviously, it depends on the situation that you're in. Yeah. Despite the fact that I would like to try mix matching Salt and Sugar into their opposite, where they don't belong, essentially. But, you know, just to state the obvious, I don't know if I'd fancy a salty cup of tea.
No.
Or a salty cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I feel like I could get away with a salty cup of coffee more than a salty cup of tea. But either way, I'd probably preference not having salt in my drinks.
Right.
Unless it's intentionally meant to be a salty drink. But that would defeat the purpose of a drink.
Well, there is an instance where you can put salt in a sweet drink, which would be hot chocolate, which is apparently supposed to make the chocolate taste even better.
Well, that's a situation, though, where you're not replacing the sweetener with something which would be more savory. You're adding the savory to the sweet. So that works because like sweet and savory is meant to work very well.
Yeah.
But in actually replacing the sweetener with something that's salty maybe doesn't work quite as well. I want to agree with you, but then I'm kind of thinking to myself, well, if we take on board that point, for example, would you attempt the whole chip thing that I mentioned before, like taking, instead of putting salt on your chips, putting sugar on your chips?
Probably not, because I don't have a fondness for sweet potato.
Right.
Even though I hear that you can make some really nice sugar from sweet potato. I can't stand the taste of sweet potato itself.
Right.
So I'm imagining that putting sugar on chips or and any other like potato product is going to give me the same taste as what a sweet potato would.
Okay. Let's try and think of other things. Okay, would you put sugar on meat?
Yeah, of course. Okay, because crackling, you put honey on.
Right. So you'd have no problem basically replacing something that's salty.
No.
In turning it into something that's sweet.
Generally, no.
Right. But would you feel the same way the other way around? Because as we've just discussed, you wouldn't put salt in your cup of tea or in your cup of coffee. Would you put, instead of like a really sweet jam on a piece of toast, would you get like, if those are super salty, kind of, or would you just put salt on toast?
I haven't tried it.
I don't know that would be such a horrible thing, since you can put salt on bread.
Yeah.
And it works quite well. But I guess it depends what kind of level you're trying to go for with that.
I mean,
trying to think of other
going along the lines
sweet
of
things,
something sweet that you add salt to, there is like stuff, salty taffy.
I'm more thinking of stuff like as like replacing the sweet, so that the sweet is gone and it's salty instead.
Oh,
like what you would do with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It's a bit harder to sort of figure out with would you have salty Haribos?
Sure.
Really?
Why not? It would because all Haribo is just like sweet flavorings and gelatin.
Yeah.
So it'll be like having jelly that you would have with meat.
I guess.
You know, stuff like spam and whatnot.
Yes, I mean,
I couldn't have it by itself, I'll tell you that. It would have to be with something, so maybe if it was in the case of Haribo, it would have to be like with a steak or something.
Right. Haribo with the steak? That sounds disgusting.
Salty Haribo with steak.
Oh. So I'm just thinking, because initially I wanted to say that salt is probably the better one. But when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I think I would replace salt with sugar before I would replace sugar with salt.
Yeah.
But in argument to that, I fucking love salt.
Yeah.
Like, I've had comments from many people that I put way too much salt on pretty much all of my food. I think the only food these days that I won't add salt to anymore is bacon.
Yeah.
But that's just because the bacon that I eat is like very salty to begin with.
I do have an alternative to bacon though. Ham.
Oh yeah, I'll put salt on ham. Yeah. I'll probably put way more than I should put on.
I also have another suggestion, which would be to coat one side of your ham with salt, put it on a grill, wait till the salt is burning, then do the other side, which essentially gives you I don't want to say jerky, but like somewhere in between like ham and jerky.
Well, I mean, I love to coat pretty much all of my food, like I said, in salt. I mean, if I'm having like a Sunday dinner, I have to put like a mountain of salt in the gravy just to like really bring its flavor out. Cover the meat obviously in salt. Just basically everything. I fucking love this stuff.
Yeah.
I used to have an addiction for butter, as you'd have probably gathered from last week's podcast. I used to have just a thing for I just wanted to eat it straight out of the tub, and obviously,
really.
Oh yeah. I was like, I don't know what the hell I was going through at the time, but I just non-stop wanted butter.
It wasn't something like just it was just regular butter,
I had
not like
just a full-on craving just for butter.
Actually, there is a butter that that's came out recently, and it was I need to remember because it was either like a coconut butter flavored or something like that. But yeah, it's like a nutty flavored butter,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to find where to get it because I have no idea where it is. And it might have been Flora, maybe Flora or the other one. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I'm not entirely sure. But either way, I'll tell you this. I think maybe back when I was about like 7 years old or something, I got the salt shaker and I just basically kept pouring salt into my hand all the time just to like lick it off essentially. To a point where I think I had like this little mini mountain of salt on my hand, and I basically ended up eating all of it. I felt very ill later that day. I didn't feel so good, I'll admit, but it was lovely at the time. I wouldn't do it again.
No,
but,
no,
it was lovely at the time.
One, you dehydrate yourself, and two, if you eat too much salt, that can actually make you throw up.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I was gonna throw up at the time. Maybe had I just like chugged a pint of vinegar or something down with it, I'd have been alright.
You'll get cramps and you'll want to throw up. And if you're not careful, you would increase the pH balance of your stomach acid, which could one, kill the enzymes that are inside your stomach, meaning you couldn't digest food, and two, potentially ruin your stomach lining.
Yeah, you don't really need to digest.
You know,
nah.
It's just a storage pouch.
That's all. But so I don't know. It's a difficult one, Chris. Yeah. It leaves me at a rather difficult position. I went into this discussion thinking I already know the answer. This is very easy. You haven't talked me out of anything, but in your discussion and in my discussion, I've talked myself into struggling between salt and sugar.
I'll make it slightly easier for you, and I think it might help you come to a conclusion. I'll still say salt is probably the better of the two, just because it's extremely versatile, but you can say the same thing about sugar. On the other hand, you can have sweet things, and you can have them just by themselves, just because they're sweet. Candy,
sweets.
Yeah.
He's not American.
So yeah, but if you were talking about salty stuff, it's best when it's accompanied by something else. Unless it's very rare occasions where you will have something that is just salty, like pretzels are an example. What else is an example? Jerky is often very salty. But more cases, often than not, it is accompanied by something else.
Okay, I'm going to give you several examples. A bacon sandwich is not accompanied by something sweet.
No, but you have bacon, which is accompanied by your bread. You don't just... people aren't usually going to straight up just eat bacon.
I would. I've done it many a time. Packet of crisps. Not accompanied by anything. Just a packet of crisps. What else? Chips. You can have chips by themselves.
You can, but it's better when it's with something else.
Well, yes. What else? I had a list of stuff, and they just slipped right on out of there. They're like, "Fuck you, Daniel." Oh, my mind has drawn a huge blank. Basically, like, you know, your actual proper foods, you don't necessarily always have to eat them accompanied.
No.
And it depends, I guess, where you want to go with they're accompanied by something. For example, a sausage roll, right? Now, you could argue, yes, but that's a sausage accompanied by pastry. But, technically speaking, it's just a sausage roll. You don't necessarily have the sausage roll with something else. You can, but you don't necessarily have to. A lasagna is salty. You don't have it accompanied with other things.
I think I prefer lasagna when it is accompanied by something else.
And even if you do have it accompanied by something else, you typically have it accompanied by something else that is also salty. So it's not like you have to have one or the other. Like, it's not like with sweet you can just have sweet, but with salt you have to have something sugary with it. It's, you know, you can have salt and just have salt.
Yeah.
Same with the sugar. So that's where my argument to your point there would be.
I think my conclusion, because I don't think I had one to begin with, would be essentially they both have their place.
They do both have their place. I think one is more replaceable than the other.
Oh, sorry, I have a slight more argument for salt.
Mm-hmm.
There are more foods that do not require a sweet taste in comparison.
Right. Well, that doesn't help with salt.
No, because
that actually could hurt salt,
right.
because then salty foods are more common.
Mm-hmm.
So sugary foods are a lot rarer.
Right, but you're not going to generally go for something that's sweet over, like, you're not going to generally eat a cake over a proper meal. I think you'd prefer to eat the cake over the proper meal, but you can get stuff like, if you eat too much of it, you'll end up getting sick.
It depends what time of day it is.
9 p.m.
9 p.m, I've probably already ate my main food, so yeah, I'll have a donut or two.
All right.
If I'm just walking out in the streets, I fancy a quick snack or something, I'm not going to go into a freaking corner shop and say, oh, can I have a Sunday meal, please? They're going to be like, fuck off. We don't sell that.
They really should, though.
I'm going to say, oh, give us a chocolate bar or something. So I'm picking something sweet over something salty. So I don't necessarily think you would always go for the salty thing. I think, I will admit though, 9 times out of 10, I do actually go for the salty food over the sugary stuff. If I have a choice between like bacon or just a packet of crisps or whatever, versus some chocolate or just some sweets, I'll go for the crisps and bacon every time. I'm just not as much of a sweet tooth as I used to be.
Yeah.
I'm more into savory stuff these days. But, the two also work well pretty much together. So, you just don't need to fight, guys.
No.
You're both pretty good.
No. Let the kids fight, though, because they will say sugar.
Oh, yeah, children will say sugar.
Yeah.
I think we're just too old now for that kind of stuff. We've withered away. And we need that salt to sort of bring life into it again.
No, we're on our way to self-mummification.
Yeah, that's where we're heading.
Yeah. It's going to be great. We're going to go into the Egyptian afterlife that possibly doesn't exist.
Maybe. Field of Reeds.
Field of Reeds?
Yes.
Is that a reference?
That's the Egyptian afterlife.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was more like pretty much what Earth was, just...
Well, apparently it's a field of reeds.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just a field of reeds?
Basically, yeah.
The Egyptian afterlife sounds like it sucks.
So...
Oh, wait, there's a giant crocodile that eats lost souls, too. Yeah. Or was it an alligator?
Well, it's either a big crocodile or a big snake.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Yeah. So
it's a reptile of sorts.
So giant reeds... Or a large field.
I don't think they have to be giant reeds.
Well,
it's just like an endless field of reeds.
Right. So a large field of reeds. With things that will eat your soul.
Well, I think if you make it into the field of reeds, you don't have to worry about anything trying to eat your soul. So
just a field of reeds with nothing else, and you lie down for a while.
Well, sure, but I imagine you have company.
I don't remember it saying. Actually, no, because the pharaohs would have all their slaves. All their best slaves also killed.
Yeah. So
that they would join them in the afterlife. But if it's just a field of reeds, what the hell are you going to do?
Well, you got food for days.
Food for days.
Food for weeks.
Of reeds.
Well, yeah.
Do the Egyptians then turn into cows?
Well, no, but you can cut down the reeds, and you'll probably be able to get wheat out of that, and then you'll be able to make bread, and then
wait, did you say bread. You'd probably be able to get weed out of that?
Not weed, wheat. This guy's not straight edge.
No, absolutely not. Well, I have been for quite some time though. Well, I mean, I haven't touched like a drop of alcohol in a very long time.
You haven't touched a drop of alcohol in a long time,
or weed for that matter.
Or weed.
If you're talking about smoking, then fair enough.
He's not straight edge. Neither am I.
Bent edge society.
Bent edge society. Yeah. So, not that this helps very much for you, but I'm seeing a lot of blue in front of me right now.
Are you?
There's blue on the keyboards.
Right.
There's blue glass. Blue wrapping, blue picks, guitar picks, not pictures. We're just the sky's blue.
Mm-hmm.
We're covered. We're just surrounded by blue.
Right.
Okay. So, my friend Ray asked me one time.
Ray,
you know Ray.
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
Mysterio.
He's a little under the weather at the moment.
Ray.
Mm-hmm. He's a bit blue.
Now, if you said she, she's a bit blue, and you said Ray.
It's short for Raymond.
Raymond.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you know a person called Raymond?
Yes, Ray.
I don't know this person personally.
You do.
I do not.
Well, either way, you haven't seen him in a while because, like I said, he's feeling a bit down at the moment. He's a little blue.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
So speaking of Blu-Ray.
I'm still beating you on puns. I'm still beating you on puns. I've had two recorded thus far.
I don't know. I need to see evidence on that one. That's point 2, by the way, of the show. Blu-rays. How'd you feel about them, mate?
Meh. Pretty meh. Yeah. I've.
So you have the choice. You have to. You're gonna either get a DVD or a Blu-ray. You're gonna just go for the DVD.
Generally, probably, yeah.
So does that mean then if you also were given the choice of going for a DVD or just a video cassette, like VHS, you'd just go for the VHS?
If you said cassette, I'd probably say cassette. But between DVD and video. Or VHS rather, no, I'd probably pick DVD.
Okay, then. So I want to hear this logic. So why would you pick DVD over video, but you would pick DVD also over Blu-ray?
I'll start off with availability. DVDs are still available and are still being produced. 2, there are special features on the DVD. I think they have had special features before on VHS. I think stuff like a commentary though was like quite rare to have on a VHS. But you generally when I used to watch DVDs a lot, you would have stuff like commentary behind the scenes, whether that be on a separate disc or whatever. Is usually dependent on studio and how much space is being taken up on the disc. Okay. In terms of quality, it's better than a video and VHS. It's going to get really confusing.
Well, video.
Yeah, it's better than VHS. It's not as good as Blu-ray, but it's still very watchable, and you can do stuff like upscaling to like from standard definition to 1080i, 1080p, which gives you a bit more validity and enjoyment from the visuals.
Okay.
It's less expensive.
Yes.
What else? And DVD players are far more available and affordable over Blu-ray players.
Okay.
Especially if I'm on about Blu-ray players for PCs and whatnot.
Right. So, is your reasoning then for picking DVD over Blu-ray pure and simply just down to 2 points, which is the pricing and the availability? Is that the only real 2 reasons why you pick DVD over Blu-ray?
Pretty much. Okay. Yes.
Because, you see, I think maybe you have a point if you're talking like 7 to 10 years ago. But now I don't think there's that much. Like, granted, yes, Blu-rays are definitely more expensive than DVDs, but that's because DVDs are older and Blu-rays are better quality discs. And just better quality on the disc. But really, at least in my experience, I don't find that Blu-ray players are that difficult to come by. They're fairly common these days, even for PCs.
I wouldn't call them difficult to come by. Actually, for PCs, it is a little difficult because there's not exactly many manufacturers who actually make Blu-ray drives. in comparison to CD drives, because CD drives are more common and more used.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of different companies that make plenty of Blu-ray players these days and Blu-ray drives. They're not insanely difficult. Blu-ray's been around for some time now, so it's kind of like the standard to go to in terms of like a disc reader or just a disc in general. Now, yes, once again, Blu-rays themselves are more expensive, but most shops that sell DVDs have a huge aisle filled with Blu-rays as well. So Blu-rays themselves are not that difficult to come by. And for someone like you, who loves like behind the scenes stuff, similar to me, you'll most of the time get more behind the scenes stuff on a Blu-ray than you will on a DVD. And the main reason for that is because they're charging you more for the Blu-ray. And essentially what they want you to buy the more expensive item. It's why like when they're like 3 months or 5 months after the release the Blu-ray, they end up releasing like the 3D special Blu-ray on top of that, and that's usually has even more stuff in it because they want you to go buy that one, which is even more expensive, or fully aware that you've already bought the Blu-ray, they want you to go out and buy the same film again just because it's got some extra features in it this time. So in terms of everything that you like, in terms of the film, in one, Blu-ray's better quality. Granted, it is more expensive, so that's a bit of a con. Better quality, you get more special features with it. They're not really that difficult to come by. Blu-ray players are fairly common these days. Granted, yes, maybe not as common as a CD drive or a DVD player, but once again, they're not like most shops that sell DVD or CD players will have plenty of Blu-ray players to choose from. So I think in terms of everything that you like I said, behind the scenes, quality of film, and availability, I just can't really sort of justify the logic behind meh to Blu-ray.
Well, I'll say something else. From a certain point, I don't remember what the year was, a certain point onwards, special features in movies have become less so.
Yeah.
Even from the larger big blockbusters to the smaller stuff, which would actually benefit more from having more special features. So it's like more incentive for people to buy said movie on whatever format you want. In comparison, DVDs have far more special features and far more variety when it comes to the movies and how they are, and how like box sets work. For example, I've had various versions of the Peter Jackson's King Kong on DVD. I've had the 2-disc special edition. I've had the 4-disc special edition. No, it was the 3-disc special edition. I've had the special edition versions of the whole entire collection of the Alien movies, which came up to like 8 discs.
Yeah.
What else have I had? I've had various things like that, and I don't see an equivalent of them, or I haven't seen them yet. You'll probably point up some examples to me of the same thing on Blu-ray.
Well, here's the thing I'll argue about that, is I don't think that works as an argument against Blu-ray. That's just an argument against like post-cinema release of film today. Which in fact is true, because behind the scenes stuff are becoming less and less common. And I've already dived into this before in the past, but I'll jump back into the reason for that in a little bit. But the stuff you're listing off are from older films. So it was behind the scenes stuff, as we've just pointed out, was bigger back then. So it doesn't matter whether or not it's DVD or it's Blu-ray. They're not going to put something into, especially with behind the scenes, they're not going to put something on a DVD for a film and then not put that on the Blu-ray for the film, because essentially, like I said, they want you to buy the more expensive disc. So, and if they've went through the effort, because it might not look like it, but doing all that behind the scenes stuff costs the studio money just to make. So if they're going to spend all that money creating this behind the scenes stuff, and they're not just going to stick it on the Blu-ray and leave it completely off. Sorry, they're not just going to stick it on the DVD and leave it completely off of the Blu-ray. So in terms like that, if a DVD got that kind of attention, it's Blu-ray equivalent would get that same kind of attention, if not more, just because of the fact they want you to buy that specific disc because it costs more money, so they make more money back. But Blu-ray is not the reason for why that stuff has started to die out. It's the real villain in the story, which is digital. Digital films are the reason why it's all dying. Because a lot of people can't be asked to go out to the shops and buy a physical copy of the disc anymore. And so what do? They just buy it online. They just buy a digital copy of the film. And they've got it in that little digital library. Now, these digital versions don't come with behind-the-scenes stuff. The advantage with digital film is that they usually released a week early. They're either around about the same price or a tiny bit more expensive than what the Blu-rays and what the DVDs are. And it's just the film. And so as far as the studio is concerned, they're like, well, the majority of people are just buying the digital stuff, and that's just the film. So nowhere near as many people are now going out and buying the physical copies, which we're doing all this extra effort for. So if lots of people are just giving us all the money just for the film, why should we bother making all this behind-the-scenes stuff? That costs us money, so we lose more money the more we make. So we'll just start making less and less and less behind-the-scenes stuff, putting less of it on disc, and we're still going to make the exact same amount of money back, but we'll make a higher profit because we haven't wasted all that money on behind the scenes. Digital's what's killing behind the scenes, and people buying the digital copies is what's killing that stuff. I think unfortunately it's the way it's going to go. I don't think behind the scenes stuff's going to die altogether, but I think, well, one, if the physical format in terms of discs and everything just dies out entirely, and then it's all you've got is digital films from that point on, then yeah, behind the scenes stuff is probably going to die out, and the only way you're going to get it is if the studios release it like on YouTube or something. But as long as the discs exist, I think there will always be a little bit of behind the scenes stuff for the majority of films, maybe not for every film, but for the large majority of them. But yeah, I think the way it's going to go is you are going to start getting less and less, and that really sucks. But I think that's the way it is, just because the large majority of people don't want to go out to the shops anymore and buy all this stuff, and aren't going out to buy it specifically for that reason. They're just saying, "Oh, I'll just get the version that means I don't have to leave the house. All right, so I don't get behind the scenes, but it doesn't bother me. I just want the film anyway." The studio hears that and they're like, "Well, you don't want behind the scenes? Fine, you don't need to have behind the scenes." So it's not Blu-ray that's killing that. It's digital film that's killing that. Well, not digital film, but digital movies.
You still kind of justified my reasoning though, because there are many. In fact, I don't know if I would be correct in saying there are more movies on DVD currently than there are Blu-ray.
Well, yes, but once again, that's just because Blu-ray is a newer format than DVD. A lot, some films didn't make a lot of money to begin with, right? So it would cost them more money to essentially bring it back out, remaster it essentially, and put it back out on Blu-ray, and they wouldn't make that money back. So it's like, well, what's the point? But in terms of films that do find it worthwhile of doing, at least in my opinion, Blu-ray is totally worth it. Yes, it's a couple of extra quid. It's not that much more expensive than DVDs. But the quality-wise is a lot better. You get that sort of vivid detail in the quality of the film. Plus, you get the extra behind-the-scenes stuff on top of that. Visually, I mean, it looks nice. I don't know. I mean, yes, they're both discs, but I think just the in terms of casing-wise and everything, it visually looks nicer, like a Blu-ray case over a DVD case.
Didn't they stop the Blu-ray discs having a blue disc? Because I think that was supposed to be like a thing for the PlayStation 3, that all Blu-ray discs are actually blue now.
Yeah, I think they might have done.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I've looked at my last Blu-ray disc that I got. But yeah, either way, I don't think that's like a legitimate argument for them being meh, because there's less of them. It's just because it's still a newer format. There's probably always going to be less of them, provided that studios keep releasing the films out on DVD. But in 30 or in 20 odd years or something, when Blu-ray is the old format and there's something else that's even better, they'll probably stop making DVDs altogether. Blu-rays will take their place, and then at that point, there's gonna then be more Blu-rays than that thing. And I guess that's the only point in which Blu-rays will start to possibly get equal to DVDs in terms of quantity, just because at that point, they've stopped producing DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Blu-ray's never going to catch up in terms of quantity, but quantity doesn't necessarily equal quality in terms of the product that you're getting.
No, but it's still got more of what I'm looking for in when I want to go and buy a physical version of the movie.
Well, yes, once again, if you want a specific movie that doesn't have a Blu-ray release, then that's a fair point. But if there's a film that you really want to have on a physical copy, and your choice is between DVD or Blu-ray, you're not going to get anything more from getting the from getting the DVD than you will for getting the Blu-ray.
Right.
Because like I said, everything you're looking for is great film, fantastic behind-the-scenes stuff. If the DVD has fantastic behind-the-scenes stuff, the Blu-ray will have fantastic behind-the-scenes stuff and possibly more. Now, granted, you're talking about films that have like 8 freaking discs, but if they don't have a Blu-ray version, then you can't judge the Blu-ray against that, because there is no Blu-ray to sort of judge it against.
There is no Blu-ray for it.
But you'd have a fair argument if this film that has 3 behind-the-scenes discs also then came out on Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray just had the film on it.
Yep.
Then I'd say you've got a fair point there. There are DVDs that have a shitload of behind-the-scenes stuff, and that Blu-ray counterpart does not. But in terms of when you're actually comparing the two, you have to take a property that has both a DVD copy and a Blu-ray copy, and sort of judge them. And in that scenario, other than price, Blu-ray wins out, because Blu-ray will have more behind-the-scenes stuff than the DVD version, or at least the same amount, and it will be a better quality film.
Going back to the whole price thing.
Yeah.
Again, I see a caveat with having a Blu-ray, which would be we are once again moving formats. It's still Blu-ray, but we're moving from Blu-ray to 4K now. 4K is going to become the standard very near on to the future. That's not my point, however, although it could be. In order to get the full quality that you can get out of a Blu-ray, you, 1, have to have a good Blu-ray player. You, 2, have to have a good TV.
Yeah.
And 3, you also have to get the movies.
Yeah.
Which adds up.
Yeah.
Now, in comparison, you can get a semi-good TV for to play DVDs on. You can get pretty much an average DVD player, or a DVD player that also does upscaling, which is pretty dirt cheap these days. And DVDs, which in comparison, again, the price of that in comparison to getting all the stuff that you would need for a Blu-ray to get the utmost quality out of it is significantly more than DVD.
Well, but that argument applies to DVDs as well. Because you're talking about you can get a good quality if you just get a standard television and an average DVD player and so on. But if you want the utmost quality from that DVD, then you get the best DVD player you can get. You get a really good TV, not just an average mediocre television. And even so, when DVDs were a new thing, you at that time, you had to go out and get a DVD player, which were expensive at the time. You had to, 1, have a television. For example, if you were to try and use a DVD player on the very first television that ever existed, I doubt it would play the DVD very well.
No,
the quality wouldn't be up there.
No, but you could get it to play.
But that's not the utmost quality, as you're pointing out with the Blu-ray.
Right.
You don't need to have a fantastic television just to have a Blu-ray player play the film. But you won't get the best, as you pointed out, you won't get the best quality. Same applies to a DVD. If you got a really shitty telly, yes, it'll play the film, but it won't necessarily play it in good quality.
I don't think you've quite grasped what I'm trying to say. There's a stopping point with quality in DVD. There is also a stopping point in quality with Blu-ray. You'd have like it would go up to like a certain scaling or a certain amount of quality, and then there's no point in getting like a better TV than that would give you. In comparison, if you got the utmost equipment that you would need to get the utmost out of a DVD, to get the utmost out of get the utmost out of a Blu-ray, the prices for that differentiate.
Well, obviously,
even if you got the most expensive TV in the world to play a DVD, it will still look as good as a TV that can still play that quality for a cheaper price.
Well, yeah, obviously. But I'm not saying you need to get the best television in the world possible to get the best possible quality out of a DVD.
I'm trying to balance between the two.
But in trying to balance it, I'm trying to put the perspective of placing the DVD in the same scenario, like in its stage of life as to where the Blu-ray is now. So when DVD was relatively a new thing, you wanted what was one of the best televisions at the time. You wanted as good a DVD player as you could possibly get to try and get the best quality out of that disc, because standard televisions at that time would not have essentially been optimized to play the best, to get the best quality out of a DVD. Now it's easy for a television to get great quality out of a DVD because the standard resolution for a television, just the standard way television's built, is built for far more than what a DVD is even capable of. So even your run-of-the-mill average television today will be able to get the best possible quality out of a DVD. But back then, when a DVD was in the same stage of life that Blu-ray is now, it was relatively in the same scenario where, okay, maybe there wasn't as many DVDs as there was videos. You had to go out and get a DVD player. You had to go out and get the best possible television you can get, and then you would start getting really good quality out of your television. I mean, now granted, it's slightly more complicated today because if you're going into like surround sound and all that stuff, I mean, Blu-ray pushes really heavy on its sound just as much as it does its picture, which wasn't as big a... I mean, sound was still obviously very important, but it wasn't as big a thing in terms of like having your surround sound and everything. Back when DVD was at this stage of its life. So yes, granted, you could argue there's a bit more money on there, but you don't really lose anything if you choose to just ignore that side of things and you just have to use the regular speakers from the television. So I don't think Blu-ray is this like drastic difference in its point of life now to what DVD was at its stage of life at the same time. Once again, granted, yes, it's easier to go DVD now. It's cheaper. But once again, that's because it's older. It will be so much easier and so much cheaper. Actually, well, maybe not so much easier because they're very old, but it'll be so much cheaper probably to just go video, to be honest with you. You know, you're not going to get many of the films that you want probably because most films that you're going to see today won't have a video release. But, I mean, that would be your cheapest option, and any of your televisions today would very easily be able to get the best picture quality out of a video, because video, you know, they're built way beyond what a video is even capable of playing. So, and in your point it's about we're already about to start moving formats anyway, I mean, not really, because... You're saying we're moving from Blu-ray to 4K, but the discs that are coming out for that are still Blu-ray.
They're still 4K. I'm saying that the standard is going to be 4K.
Well, yeah, the standard in terms of like picture quality and everything, but in terms of like we're not about to make that next shift like we did from DVD to Blu-ray. It'll like have when it's the next shift altogether. It'll be go by probably a completely different name.
Digital.
It'll be something. It probably will just end up being digital, which really sucks because I like having my films like physical and like so I can actually hold them and see them in front of me as opposed to them just being on a screen. Which is why I don't think I've ever bought a digital film. I have digital films, but that's just because when you tend to buy them on Blu-ray, you get a digital code with them. And I'll then type in the code and I'll get my digital version of the film, which is very useful for when I've left the film behind or something and I'm in a different location and I want to watch the film nonetheless. But I have never and probably for as long as I can will never buy a digital film just because I like to have it on disc.
We're going to include renting digital films.
Oh, rent digital films. I got no problem with that. But... That's because I don't intend to keep it. In fact, I would choose to rent digital over actually renting physical. Because then you've got to wait for it to get to you and all that shit. But in terms of actually owning, it has to be like a physical copy for me. So it really sucks. But unfortunately, you're right. That will be the next step in the phase of everything.
I'm not going to look forward to it.
I'm not looking forward to it.
It's going to miss so much stuff that I like about owning a movie.
It will ultimately kill that second stage of excitement about a film. The first stage being seeing the film, and then the second stage being getting to watch that behind the scenes stuff.
No,
whether or not it's got the commentary.
No, your first stage is the movie. The second stage is the movie with commentary. The third stage is to watch everything that happened behind the movie.
Well, not for me. I rarely ever think about the commentary.
Really?
Rarely ever think about the commentary. So for me, first stage is film, second stage is behind the scenes stuff, and then if I really fucking love the film, third stage is commentary.
Well, you say that, but some of the commentaries are often better than the movies themselves. There was an example, and I'm not too sure if you're the one who told me about this, but somebody did, of I think it was Jack Black who was in the commentary, or it was somebody else, and they were just making fun of the movie itself as the commentary was going along.
Right. I don't know about that, but no, but for me, well, I have to assume you. I'm assuming that's going to be the King Kong film. But even so, with that, for me, I'd watch the King Kong film, and then I wouldn't give a fuck about the commentary. I would want to watch all the behind-the-scenes stuff for it, and then I'd choose to watch the commentary after that.
What if I told you that there are two commentaries? Technically, there are two commentaries.
It would take me a very long time to get around to them.
There is the original commentary, which you'd find on like the first movie. Oh, sorry, the first like released DVD, and then there is one that you redone that is on two separate discs.
Okay.
With the whole movie, like all the stuff that was cut out actually put back in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the whole that release of the movie was like, how long was the movie again? It's like 6 hours long, something like that.
Yeah. Bloody hell. Jackson's got a problem in terms of his film lengths. The uncut versions, anyway. I mean, his Lord of the Rings is like 25 hours long, uncut. Which, considering I'm not a fan of the Lord of the Rings stuff, sorry.
Yeah.
And when one of my friends was trying to get me into Lord of the Rings, that was the version that stuck me on, was the 25-hour one.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, why? And then
was there not a version on the disc that was just the regular movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. All I know is when I actually saw that it probably wasn't actually 25 hours, but when I saw like the length of the film as it was on pause, it was like way longer than your average length film. It was like 12 hours or something. I was like, fuck. As if I don't already have enough reasons to dislike this thing. And then he's got a 52-hour version of King Kong. I mean,
52? No, it's not 52.
So,
You've got, let's see, if I can get this correct, in total content when I had the DVDs, I think you've got the 6-hour version, the 6-hour movie that comes with two separate discs. That didn't actually, it didn't actually have the post-production on this release of the DVDs, which always confused me. Some behind-the-scenes stuff on another 2 discs. I think the total for content itself was about 8 hours.
Right.
If we include the commentary, not the commentary. If we include the what was it? Like the production vlogs they done, I think that's another 2 hours. So in total, for King Kong, there's about 10 hours of total content that you can get.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. Well, Chris, we did have another topic that we were going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But we are running out of time, unfortunately.
All right.
So we're going to have to call that an end, guys.
Yeah.
So once again, we've asked you this before, we'll ask you again. Do us all the favors, please.
And touch your belly button.
All the buttons. All of them. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Goodbye.